Okay. So she's back here. She's back here. Okay, good. I'm going to stop by and visit. I'll stop by. At least it's yeah, yeah. I can say right now. It's actually in the grocery store and one of those is outside. And what I do is I throw some vegetables in there, so I pay it, usually it was 90 packets.
Yeah, it's just the videos,
No, but you could eat a couple times a week if you're desperate, like I get sometimes. Yes. Paul can't. He can't. He can make himself like. He's always been dangerous in the kitchen, but now.
Are we going? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to call the Hancock Town Council meeting to order. Can we have the roll call? Debbie here.
Councilmember Vicky,
Present.
Councilmember Grove, Councilmember Holden,
Present.
Councilmember Knopf,
Here.
Councilmember Pettit,
Here.
Councilmember Quigley,
Here.
Mayor Foskey.
Here. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep. We do have a public hearing. If you'd like to speak at the public hearing, could you please sign, is there a sign up sheet back there? Yeah, make sure you sign that up. Sign up for that, please. All right, consideration and approval of the meeting minutes from June 22nd, 2027. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any corrections or discussion on that? Okay, anybody else okay with minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, it's time for our public hearing on Pump Station 4. I'd like, Wes, you want to give us a little background on this?
So you want to speak to regular public comment?
Nobody? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, this public hearing is one of the required steps for the town's ongoing pump station transfer process with HRSC. The purpose tonight is to receive public comment concerning Pump Station 4. Following the hearing, the staff will continue working with HRST and the town attorney on the remaining transfer documents and actions. And the pump station that we are discussing is the one on South Street.
And we are discussing giving it to HRSD, correct? Yes, okay. All right, my mic's is that working still? Oh, that was a lot. Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing. Any comments? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay. That's it for that. All right, do we want to have an action on that, correct? Is it? No, that's a different one. That's a different thing.
That's Pump Station 1 and 2.
Yeah.
There's no action required.
Okay. Okay. So when are we going to transfer it to them? We have to have a vote.
I believe this is just for the, a public comment for the hearing. I don't think the votes tonight for that.
Okay,
The action says that that's to acquire pump stations 1 and 2.
this is different, yeah, that's
So,
different.
so this one would be later.
Yes, correct.
The thing here says that we can vote on it now if we wanted to, that their tranche says that you could immediately following the public hearing, but there's no hurry, is it?
No.
Okay, so we'll wait, okay, all right. Okay. So we need to put that on the agenda for next meeting, yeah, okay. All right, a public presentation, Casey Greer, Planning Commission, she's going to talk about the progress of the town plan.
Thank you for inviting me this evening. I was going to have a PowerPoint for you, but my PowerPoint skills need a little work. And so what I'd like to offer to you is that I come back in September and I'll also have some more data points to share with you at that point about water and a few other things. So what I'd like to do is come back and do a second report in September where I'm able to put stuff up for people to take a look at. And we'll also have some more data points. Okay, so let me read this to make sure I just stay on target. The state of Virginia mandates that all local governments prepare a comprehensive plan and update it every 5 years. Towns smaller than 7,500 residents can opt to be included in their county's plans. But the town of Onancock has prepared its own plan since the first one was adopted in late 1999. Onancock Planning Commission is the official town committee with members appointed by town council. Its members are the originating authors of the comprehensive plan and are responsible for monitoring and updating as needed. When a draft plan is completed, it is submitted to the members of town council, which then can decide either to approve the plan or ask for changes. The comprehensive plan is intended to serve as the guide for strategic planning by the town council. It is an official document that is a guide for policy decisions related to the economic, environmental, social, and cultural health of the community. All controls on land use, including zoning and subdivision ordinances, should be in accord with the plan. Best practices for comprehensive plans are for it to undergo review and partial revision, if necessary, annually by the Planning Commission. And while the 1990 plan underwent some revisions in 2002, 2004, and 2008, that's not a process that took place with the current plan. By this, I mean that individual parts of the plan can be singled out for revision as conditions change. So that don't feel like that we need to undertake the whole thing at any given time, that there's one point like zoning and land use or things relating to water that new data has meant that we need to reconsider. We can go back to that one part of the plan. For example, a new law or program from the state that relates to the town needs could make it advisable to revise part of the plan. We are also drawing from prior plans where policies, goals, and action steps can be carried over. I recently received a copy, thanks to Wes, of the plan that was adopted in 1999 and revised 3 times. I'll finish reading it, absorbing it this week, but it turns out, for example, that plan had a good discussion on bicycles in town that could be added to our transportation section. So I need to go back. I haven't had time to sit down and really read the thing through, but Wes has it. And if you want to take a look at it, I'm sure he'll send you a copy. These previous plans have also revealed to me just how long some of the issues we are including in this plan have been under discussion. The question is, can we make some substantive process addressing at least some of them? The table of contents that you received as part of your packet, which I have here, is a working draft and is not definitive. The list of topics includes some required by the state, such as transportation and water. Believe it or not, VDOT has to look at the transportation section. and some that are optional but make sense in view of local condition, arts and culture, heritage, for example. I'm almost done with a first full draft of the chapter on housing, and its contents have evolved, reflecting both changes in new state law and an evolving understanding of the issues by me, right? I've been really developing my thinking on the housing question in town. Commission members are reviewing and commenting on all writing, either in our main meetings or in work sessions. Because important issues are linked, for example, housing, economic development, and water use, for example, that looks like there will be some necessary overlap in the policies, goals, and action steps that we provide because they're related as well. The timeline right now for a complete draft is it should be assembled by October, with the month used for editing. Most of the necessary maps have been completed. I'm about to add one more where I've been able to, using a set of GIS materials that are available from VDOT, we're going to be able to have a map, a new map that shows all the roads that are controlled by VDOT, the 7 crosswalks that VDOT did, and the sidewalks that VDOT is responsible for. So we'll actually have a real comprehensive picture about VDOT's role. And I've been surprised some of the places where VDOT actually has control over roads. It's been a little bit of a surprise. So let's see. Tables and charts will be included, and those are, we're working on some of those now. For example, categories of businesses in town. I recently did a walking survey and discovered 72 businesses in brick and mortar businesses in town, which is more than anybody has listed as far as I can tell, because it exceeds even the Main Street map because of new businesses. I will note appendices will be included, offering specific data on some topics. I will note here that we've faced substantial challenges in getting real data on some topics. And this is a challenge that town council, working with groups like the Economic Development Authority, may want to address. The town also needs a strong records retention and management process. It's been difficult to get data about the town from the town. And may also want to consider ways to collect more data. For example, you may want to be able to, in your Excel or whatever the system you're using for taxes and stuff, make it so we can do a little more slicing and dicing of categories, which will give us a better sense of housing and also water consumption by category. So what I'm hoping is that November will be used for cleanup. Also in October, we'd like to be able to, along with distributing the draft in whatever form it's in to you, we also want to make it available for public comment, because we did receive in the process of writing the plan, we received over 60 comments from people who attended workshops, and subsequently I've had other comments that have been sort of trickling in. So I'd like to figure out how to make that available to people in draft form, and I need your help in figuring that out. It might be through the town's website that we can post a draft. So November will be, I hope, for cleanup, and then I would also like to hire a person to format the document. And I have somebody in mind who works at the library in Parksley and has done work like this on a contract basis and has a degree in graphic design. So we can have a plan that's good looking. And it also takes the pressure off town staff, who shouldn't have to do this on top of the rest of their duties. So my hope is to have an edited and cleaned up plan available for a first reading of council by December. So really, when you stop and think about it, that we have only, while it looks like we've been at it a really long time, relatively speaking, we haven't, given the challenges of an all-volunteer planning commission, the challenges of collecting data, the changing circumstances. Yet another water report just came out that certainly impacts us. So I feel like we've made really good progress, and it took a while to get the group to interact in terms of arguing, right? And having real conversations, which we do in the work sessions. And I think we've made real headway on that. The PC meets twice a month with one of these as a work session. All our meetings are open to the public. The work session is not recorded, but it does have minutes. I will tell you that when I attended a county planning commission meeting to introduce myself and get a sense of their work, the members present were surprised and unaware that Onancock did its own comprehensive plan. The county has hired Berkeley Group to do theirs. I shared our table of contents with a consultant from Berkeley Group when I stopped by one of their workshops, and later received an email congratulating me on the thoroughness of our project and offering to help if we wanted to hire them. So we're on a good track here. It's clear we're on the right track. So I want to thank you for your confidence in us as we work towards the current edition of the comprehensive plan for the town of Onancock. As I said, I'd be happy to address you again in September when we've got more work completed, and I'll be able to pull together a PowerPoint presentation on the plan that can then be available to people who are unable to attend the meeting. Now, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them at this point. I also want to thank Wes for, we've had a couple of good meetings, and he's been extraordinarily helpful as we wend our way forward on this.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? I guess mostly about the process. Anybody? And we're going to September.
I had one quick question, because this table of contents looks different than the current one that we have. Can you walk me through how it's set up a little bit more detail?
Oh, which one? Well, this one is what do you have? The one for May now? Or do you have, oh, you've got the really early one.
Oh, that I
Okay,
don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
Oh, that's good.
The one for May, in fact, I will pass this around to you and you guys can hang on to it, is really organized by, it lists 23 chapters. The chapters are organized by groupings that have to do with the groupings have to do with 4 sections that are that have to do with clauses in the vision statement, right? So that they're organized that way. If you don't have May, for some reason, I thought you guys had May. Do they have May?
This says current
Yeah, you've got May.
18 May.
Yeah. you've
Okay,
got May.
we have that. Okay, so what's
You
your
have 18
question,
May?
Lisa?
Okay,
I just want to flush out how the clauses in terms of your mission statement. Is
right.
that a mission statement that was already there, or is that something that planning commission came?
The vision statement. What we did was we adapted the current vision statement. And what we did is we made it a little more forward looking. It really had a thing about we're going to preserve what we have, right? And while we think that's important, we also wanted to emphasize that the town was a year-round community. So we made sure that that was in the vision statement so that we're interested in preserving the town as a year-round community. So it really is, grows out of the one from the last plan. It's just updated a little bit. And like I said, emphasizes the town as a year-round community.
Explain to me how, so when you say a clause, what would be a clause and how are you, because you're trying to coordinate the two, right? Between the
Right.
vision statement.
So one would be section 3, for example. We say in the vision statement that we're interested, we believe in caring for our natural environment. So section 3, so basically what you've got in the plan is like 4 sections, an introduction and 4 sections. So section 3 is caring for our natural resources and environment. And what that does is that reflects a clause in the vision statement. So that's where we talk about the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act. We're required to talk about that. We're also required to talk about waters and soils. We're we're doing a discussion of surface water and wetlands, and stormwater and flood management. Greg's going to be working on that. And because he is just writing this section now, I guarantee that these headings are gonna, and the chapters will move around. This was me guessing in May what we were going to get out of him. And all this information will be here, but it may not be organized in this way because he is in the process of writing right now. He's doing I have to say, he is doing an extraordinary job on water, issues associated with water. He's been working with Wes. He's been reading all the reports that are available. He's been talking to the Department of Environmental Quality. He's keeping up with the new reports on groundwater issues. The newest one is, a real focus and should be some concern on our part. So what he will produce is going to inevitably look different. These topics will all be here, but they may be organized in a different way.
Following up on what Lisa said, so for each chapter, surface water, there would be a discussion of existing conditions, and then there'd be a goal and an action item for for each item of what.
I think what's going to happen, I've just done a full draft of the housing chapter.
Yeah.
And what I decided was to group the goals and action steps at the back. And so we'll see if Greg and everybody agrees with that. What I've done in this chapter is I've put the two major policy statements at the top of the chapter. And then I've been writing the sections. In fact, I'll be done. I've just got to get some data points. And then at the back, I have goals and action steps they're all grouped together at the back.
Back of the whole plan.
Of that section of
That's
the
each
plan.
section. So each
Yeah.
chapter would have a goal and an action plan, or how would it impact the strategic plan, or not necessarily?
Well, what's happened is if you, with housing, what you'll see is that it'll talk about the impact of the new legislation. For example, there's a section on that and on ADUs and manufactured housing. And I've grouped those under developing the housing stock, right? And how we might want to try to do that. And then what I've done is after I've gone through each of those sections all the way through, I wound up grouping my goals and action statements, all of them together at the back, because it sort of broke. I've done it both ways. And what'll happen is the planning commission is going to reorganize, wind up reorganizing this. I mean, drafts look really different. Paul Weitzel produced a draft where everything was kind of mushed together.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll sort of see what seems to make the most sense, but we're still kind of working on that part of the process.
So,
But they'll all be there.
So, but your housing is just one, so the housing chapter, at the end of each chapter would have goals for each chapter, like the current plan. So you're just talking about housing, but there are a lot of different chapters here. So
Yeah.
each chapter is going to have some.
No, it may
Not
not.
necessarily.
What I'm saying is that you've got these 4 sections, right? And so.
At the end of the section, there
At
would be.
yeah, sometimes it'll be at the end of the
Oh,
section.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Sorry about that.
believe me, we're in the process of,
Yeah, I understand.
it's been a complex process.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And so what I've got to see is how it works from an editorial standpoint. I'm also working really hard to make it super readable.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of my big goals.
Yeah.
And the maps, I think, will be really legible and nice. One of the issues is that we're doing them as 11 by 17 maps. And the question is, in some of the printed, can we produce some printed, we'll integrate them into the text, but that will make them smaller. And what I'm wondering is if we can create sort of a separate packet of larger maps that people can take home and look at, because they'll be a lot easier to understand. One of the problems with the current maps is they're so small and, they're in black and white and you can't really figure out what's going on with them. So they'll also be available then on the town website and can be blown up. You'll be able to blow them up. So I'm really working on editorial legibility and then map legibility.
So along those lines, will you include all the actions from the previous plan with an updated status and maybe some traceability to the new plan if there's a nexus?
I hadn't thought about doing that, but we can talk about it. I hadn't thought about doing that. What we can do is note whether something has come from a previous
I
plan.
mean, some kind of.
Yeah, legible, yeah.
Continuity, like if we didn't do something from the prior plan, does that mean that didn't matter, or was there another reason, or, no, it's been.
Yeah, I gotcha.
On the old plan, but some kind of continuity.
Yeah,
Or
We
we
can-
did it and here's the next phase.
Exactly.
yeah, we can do that. We can do that. I have to tell you the truth, I haven't thought about that much because I've been absorbed in other stuff, but I think that's a good idea. We actually have kind of been working through that in our meetings, Cindy will tell you. And one of the things I've discovered is that, is that there's stuff that has been hanging fire for a really long time. Right? And the question is, can we push it up to the front? And sometimes it's going to be pushed up for us, like water.
Couple of questions. I saw a couple of mentions of something called One Water in quotes.
Yes.
Is that something we're supposed to know? Or you will educate us when you
We'll
give us the
educate
next
you on
version?
that in the introduction to all the stuff on water. What One Water is it's an approach to evaluating sort of the role of water in the community so that you make sure you're thinking about not just the immediate water infrastructures, but you're also thinking about stormwater, riparian zones and stuff like that. And so what happens is it's all kind of, it's sort of integrated in the discussion. It's just an approach so that all those, and also recreational water, water that's used, industrial water in the case of, the wharf and the creek is kind of doing a couple different things, right?
And then one other thing, in section 5 on the last page, the chapters are 21, 22, and 12.
And 12, that's right. That's a typo.
I figured it was a typo. I
Oh, yeah.
was sure it was a
It's a
typo,
typo.
but I just wanted to be sure
It's a
it
typo.
didn't survive any longer than it needed
No,
to.
no,
Okay.
no, it's a typo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, that's where we are right now. It took a while to sort of build momentum, but everybody seems to be working along. And we've also tried to reflect, the needs that came out of the workshops that we did. And one of the things that came up repeatedly had to do with some desires about the operation of town government. So we're actually putting that in there because people made it very clear that there were some issues like, in my case, record keeping, but in others, transparency and improved processes came up very much in what people were talking about. So we'll sort of, and I feel like that sort of, in some respects, sort of underlies the rest of the plan, right? That, people are thinking about that and they're worried about it. So, I think that can be addressed pretty much internally, perhaps when the next council year begins. So, any rate, any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I will plan on having something for you in September that will have a more of a final table of contents, and we'll also share some of the data points and maps so you can see what we're doing. So,
Okay,
thanks.
All right. We're gonna, you have to public comment on, yeah. Yeah, it's just not really an answer question for the public. Yeah, thank you though. All right, okay, council discussion, thanks, Casey. We're looking forward to September. Credit card fees, Wes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council previously directed staff to stop absorbing credit card processing fees and after additional work with Invoice Cloud, which is the system that we use. We learned that carrying out that direction requires a transition to a different service model, including system changes, testing and implementation period, and a higher monthly platform fee. So the proposed change is still expected to reduce the town annual processing costs but will not eliminate them. So staff is asking council to confirm whether it still wishes to proceed. And then if so, the recommended action is to reaffirm the transition, authorize the necessary paperwork once the final pricing and timing are confirmed, approve the fiscal year 27 budget amendment of approximately $11,000 and direct staff to communicate the change clearly and monitor the actual cost and workload impact.
So you've just asked a lot of questions here. So what one do you want to do? With council, first of all, any questions about, this is credit card thing?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think this is a nice informative piece and, you know, some of these things, it's just hard to estimate, right? So there are some things where we can calculate the cost. But when I look at these potential risks, more traffic into town hall to pay by cash and resistance and people perceiving that they're getting charged more, that we're changing things. And so I guess if you think of, it's about trade-offs.
Correct.
And so would you say that you all see that the net of that to make the change a positive one in the aggregate, taking all those things into account?
Yes, I mean, like you said, it's really hard to calculate the actual cost. Removing the coverage of the fees will certainly increase staff time of processing checks and mail and cash and things like that. But the savings are significant, $14,000 a year is a lot of money. So, I am always, weary of putting more burden on staff, but I think $14,000 goes a long way. So, in my opinion, I think it's worth it, but the, trade-offs you mentioned are certainly valid.
Any other questions about the, Cindy?
I would just comment in response to Anne that it's always difficult to anticipate people's reaction.
Yeah.
They're essentially a guess.
Yeah. Yes.
I think most people are pretty much accustomed to credit card fees being passed
Yeah.
through, since that's the norm most places. So, I mean, I'm certain we'll get some complaints, but I personally don't anticipate a huge volume of those.
It, as you said, though, it needs really clear red flashing lights around it, communication at every point of interface, at everything we send out, at everything we say, so that it's not a surprise.
Yes, I completely agree, because this is a big change for them.
Okay, so, anybody else coming? So everybody's on board, we're still going to proceed with this? We've already voted. I mean, it's already been put in the budget, correct?
Suggested motion.
Yeah, but the question, you have a budget amendment, doesn't that require a public hearing?
Not if it's less than 1% of our,
What is our budget? 10,000 is 1%. 3 million.
the
Great.
budget's, 3 million.
So we're okay with 10,000,
Correct.
okay, or 14, yeah, 11. Okay, so we don't need a budget amendment. Okay, so, all right, does anybody have any, does anybody want to?
The motion.
Okay, go ahead and read that motion.
I move to reaffirm council's direction to transition the town from Invoice Cloud's current absorbed credit card fee model to the hybrid submitter model. I'm sorry.
There was one comment I wanted to make about Invoice Cloud, but finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can make it comment.
Authorize the town manager to execute the necessary paperwork subject to written confirmation of final pricing and implementation timing. Approve an FY 27 budget amendment of approximately $11,000 for Invoice Cloud related costs. And direct staff to provide clear customer communication before implementation and monitor actual costs, payment behavior, and staff workload over the next several billing cycles.
Second.
Discussion?
My only thing was I'd like to edit out Invoice Cloud because since we haven't started the clock and the process with them, maybe we take a week to see if there's other vendors out there with better platforms.
Well, I mean, yes, if council would like us to look into that, we certainly can.
Because who's our vendor isn't up to us. That's up to you guys. But if
Yeah,
there's a
you're-
better deal out there.
Yeah, we're
the deal is one thing, but you would have to have the programmers rewrite the program for the import. So it's not as simple as just picking up another vendor, because I import all of that daily, and that is between Southern, that programming is between Southern. and Voice.
Right, right, I understand that.
Any
But
more-
you're gonna, they're transferring you over into their new platform, right? So there's some work there. And Voice Cloud is putting us on their next platform and changing
No,
whatever,
this
right?
is just the type of contract that we would have with them.
What were our current platform fees for us absorbing it too? Do you happen to know off the top of your head? Well, you said that because we were changing what type of service we were getting with them, that the platform fees were changing. I didn't know if we had current platform fees or
We
not.
do. It was 100, the biggest cost was that that portal access is going from 100 a month to 400 a month.
Okay, okay. That's what you're saying.
It's over the other fees.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, up to you guys. I just was trying to make it if it would save us even more money, but
I mean,
That's
it
up
is
to you
what it
all.
is, But I don't think it's as simple. It's months of probably getting the programmers to.
Okay. Well, I think we could at least look at it, and if the actual implementation would be too great, then we can figure it then. So,
But
it-
still, to Lisa's point, does the motion need to mention the specific
Just say like
vendor?
online.
Or
platform,
should we amend the motion to say,
yeah. Online payment processor.
Sure, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll make that amendment, just delete invoice cloud wherever that occurs in the motion.
Just one other quick discussion point, Wes, to follow up on what Sarah said. If you could, once you kind of start thinking this through, I'm sure you've already started thinking about it. If maybe next month you could give us some idea of like what the comms process would look like at a high level so that we can start talking about that for this transition.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Who seconded that motion? You second again? You okay with-
Second.
Okay, okay, all in favor of the motion?
I,
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Great, carries. Thank you, Wes. All right, chipping schedule change. Wes?
Yes, thank you. So the current townwide monthly shipping schedule consumes approximately, I need to make a change here. So, Chief actually updated me. So, the, rough estimate of the hours by staff that I wrote in my report was off. It's actually 2 staff from the Public Works crew who do the shipping. And so my report should read 48 to 64 hours monthly or 768 hours per year. So I just want to make that change.
So
Sorry.
Wes, it's double the amount that you put in your report?
No.
it's
No.
half?
Okay, okay.
Essentially, this report lays out the requirements of town staff to do the shipping each month. And so while the town's undersized chipper, sorry, I should back up. So the amount of hours, it takes up a lot of staff time, and the chipper that we have is not made for the kind of volume that we deal with. And so with that extra burden, I believe that during those weeks, water, street drainage, mowing, and the other core work is delayed. And so I have a talk with Chief on this, and we recommend dividing the town into 2 service areas with one service area service in 1 month, and then the other the following month. Tonight, staff is seeking direction to prepare an amendment to the town code because the shipping is listed in the town code as being monthly. So we would need to do a new ordinance for that. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about that.
So what are the negatives of doing this? Is there a downside for, I mean, we obviously,
So the downside would be that, each household would be every other month instead of monthlies. So the
Right.
shipping schedule would reduce in that
Right.
respect. But
Would it really reduce the amount of work for the chipper and the crew if people are accumulating stuff for 2 months instead of one?
that's a good question. So we currently have limits on the amount, and so we would just need to enforce those limits. And so if someone had excess shipping, they would need to dispose of it themselves.
Okay, so they would just do the amount that was appropriate and leave whatever else was there?
Yeah, I mean, we've had the rules about how much you could put out for years, and people are just to consistently violate it. And I can understand, and then my issue is if somebody comes, if we're only doing it every other month and somebody puts their stuff out the day after we picked up for that area, it's going to sit out for 2 months and not get picked up. So I think we need to do some public information to let people know that, that first of all, there's a limit on what you can put out. You can't hire a tree company to come in and cut down a tree and expect us to haul it away. That's just not, the second is that we encourage people not, like it's your garbage, you don't put your garbage can out a week before they pick it up. So I think there's a lot of public relations, a lot of communications we need to do with the public. The other thing is that this is not a service that's always been provided. Everybody seems to think that, but it's not. It wasn't available in the 80s and early 90s, so we just put it on later. I think it's a good plan. I'm interested to see what council, we'd have to have a public hearing, correct, for the ordinance, so we're going to get some feedback. So any comments?
I got one.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Omar.
Has it been determined that there's some times of the year there's more than other, it's like say when we have all these storms and all the branches and stuff coming down as opposed to like during the winter time where it's not as much being knocked down, so to speak, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll be honest, I don't know yet, because, I haven't been around long, but I'd like to ask Chief.
Of course, springtime cleanup is big.
Correct.
Yeah, after storms, big, like that ice storm, and unfortunately, the last ice storm we had, or snowstorm, we were overloaded. It took them 3.5 weeks to catch up because the chipper also had failed to work, it broke, so it was gone for 3 weeks also. But, as far as we are told otherwise, and if I got anything to do with it, after a storm, we will put extra effort into cleaning up because we are a small community. We work together. But the problem is the boys are getting hit hard and abused. People are getting trees took down and they're taking away the big stuff that they know we won't take, but they're leaving the small stuff. And I agree with Public Works. Yeah, they're over what they're supposed to have, but if I don't take it today, I get it next month. So I might as well knock it out today. So that's part of the issue also. But we've had the chipper out 3 times and spent on $8,000 repairs this year.
Yeah.
And it even got to the point we had to written them
Yeah.
to catch up. And that was $300 a day.
Yeah. Ashley, you gonna come up?
I have a question, Chief.
Yes.
Do you know the approximate age? You know the approximate age of the chipper?
3 years, 3 or 4 years old. It's like Alvin explained to me, they're not designed to be used the way we're using them.
And I guess also one question piggybacking off of that one. I've seen that brand name, but that brand name, I believe is, heavy duty commercial, but would it be beneficial over time to look at increasing the size of the unit that the town has?
It would definitely make a difference on the ends. Honestly, I find out they lease them. So if there's ever a future, we'd make it best off to lease one. Because they take care of everything.
Another question I don't know how the scheduling of work goes, but would it, as far as the load on the people and the equipment, would it make sense for them to do like a half a day on that and a half a day on other things and the times when they're chipping so that the other things don't get so far behind? Or is it the kind of thing where there's so much prep to set it up that once you're in it, it's better to stay in it?
We actually tried breaking it down, like you said, and it seemed to take us twice as long. The motivation's a lot, other things around the situation. But when they do it 3 to 4 days straight. So and the chipper, like I said, the chipper starts, it runs until they take a break. And they're not designed to be, very few are designed to be ran that way.
Cindy?
No, you don't have any questions.
Lisa?
I do. Well, not more of comments because I'm debating this in my head pretty hard. I understand why this is a suggestion and I want to be 100% behind it, but I also know what it's like when the town doesn't get picked up. And then, we're trying to invite tourism into town and the streets and, the last time the garden tour was in town, like we had to go through all these hoops and I think they're coming back. And so I worry about those aspects of it. And if we were to do this, we'd have to have a huge campaign, to let everybody understand what's going on. Communication has to be key.
Yeah.
So just so you know,
I agree, and we also, I have not talked to Wes about this, we also could do a bigger pickup in the spring. Opposed to other times of year, we could set it up differently, but every month's counts.
I understand that too.
Yeah, and I mean, we've always stayed on it, so.
So I am 100% behind showing that chipper some love because it deserves it.
Yeah.
One
And so
time-
do the guys.
True. To go along with the materials sort of accumulating, that also presents issues with ticks and other sorts of things that like to live in those kinds of things. Have you all thought about or considered potentially trying out enforcing the requirements, the regs that we have now?
Started it a couple months ago. I told them we had to, because we were just trying to chip run. And it wasn't fair for me to get Jane Doe's house and take up 3 truckloads and then come to yours and I can't get your half a load that you're supposed to have. So we started getting on it heavy a couple months ago.
So you don't think that would reduce the quantity to a more manageable amount?
It's helped, but this time of year is not that bad. It's spring, fall, and winter, especially spring and fall. Everybody.
Yes, so everyone but one season. You should say every one but season.
Yeah.
Maybe we all pick up Christmas tree.
All right, so we're gonna have, I'm not gonna do anything tonight. We're gonna have a public hearing to amend this thing. Yeah, okay. All right, well, we can think about it. We're gonna probably definitely hear something from the public on this, which we should. Yeah, okay. All right.
And let me just say it's a question. Is it worth putting out communication on social media and on the website, at least with a reminder of what the current regulations are? As I say that, I'm aware that if we put that out and then we change the regulations, then that might create confusion. But I wonder if that might alleviate the burden that is happening now. To say we've let it slide, but because of the burden on the people, the burden on the other work that's not getting done, and the burden on the equipment, we really need to come back to these regulations that we've not been, that we've been ignoring and doing more than was required.
Yes. Good idea.
Okay,
Wes has a proposed motion for us, which I think is an excellent idea because it allows us to keep track of what we're doing.
okay.
So I'll read the motion. I move to direct the town manager to prepare a proposed ordinance amendment removing specific yard debris and chipping schedule requirements from the town code, and to bring back a proposed policy or administrative schedule establishing an alternating area chipping schedule with 1/2 of town served each month.
Second,
A second.
discussion? This is just a proposed ordinance amendment, yeah. All in favor?
Wait,
No, I seconded.
Seconded.
Oh, okay. There was discussion. I have discussion.
Okay.
My only thing about this is directing him to do the alternating schedule. And is that what we want to do?
Well,
That's my hesitation on the exact wording, but
well, what
Yeah.
other options what other options are you gonna do? There's nothing else to do if we don't change the schedule. We'll just enforce what we have, or,
I guess
we don't
that's
need an
what
ordinance to
we
do
need
that.
Figure out what we want to do.
well, this is just a proposed, yeah, okay, so.
well,
yeah.
But why?
Yeah, right.
we
Why
want
do
a
that?
goose Chase if we're not gonna adopt it.
My thought is sort of similar to yours, to end the motion at proposed policy or administrative schedule
There you go.
Oh, okay.
and let it be with Eric and Wes to figure out what needs to be done instead of dictating to them
Yeah.
the every other month 2 sections plan that may not be the direction that turns out to be best.
Well, we still have to go to change the ordinance, so we have to have a, so what are you going to put in changing the ordinance? It's got to say, we just take this completely out of the ordinance and leave it up to the town manager to decide what, I mean,
So it sounds like maybe we're talking about a 2-part process where we get some public input
yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
then decide how the ordinance might be changed. And then go to the changed ordinance rather than having the
Yeah, that's my fear.
work product be.
Yeah,
the
I
ordinance.
don't want to send them down a road to come up with an ordinance that we don't want to do. I'd
Right.
like to hear
Yeah.
public input on it first. So,
Right.
yeah, so maybe this motion isn't what we,
Well, actually, I thought where Sarah suggested that we stop it.
Yeah, you're just
Alright.
removing the specific part
Yeah.
and asking him to come back with an administrative plan.
well, what says prepare a proposed ordinance? We got to strike it.
No, it says prepare a proposed policy or schedule.
Mine says
A
prepare,
proposed
Ordinance
ordinance.
amendment.
amendment. It
It's
says the
removing
first,
the specifics. All you're doing is removing something.
okay, so,
Like adopt a policy.
What if we were to amend or table this or whatever procedurally and decide on and direct staff in terms of coming up with a different proposal potentially based on our recommendations and having a public hearing on that?
Well, the only problem with that is it
Okay.
delays actually implementing anything because of the public hearing process. If we just remove what we object to, then that kind of clears it up. Then you can develop your administration as you want. As 2 separate actions. I mean,
yeah,
the administration shouldn't be in the ordinance anyway.
yeah, I think you're right. I
That's
think
what
we could,
should come out.
I think we could do away with the second half of that ordinance. Yeah, I think that you're right. Yeah.
I'll try again on the motion.
But are we gonna have a public hearing?
Uh-oh.
To change the ordinance.
We have to
Oh,
have
that's
a,
true for the
we
you're
got to
right.
change the ordinance.
Procedurally, that's just gonna happen. Okay,
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Good.
I move to direct the I'm rephrasing my motion. I move to direct the town manager to prepare a proposed ordinance amendment, removing specific yard debris and chipping schedule requirements.
From the
Period.
town code.
From the town.
The ordinance is the town code.
Right, yeah,
Sure.
okay,
If you
okay.
want to say the town code,
That's fine.
okay.
Okay, second,
Second.
discussion on this?
I would have to admit, I am curious, after Chief brought up information about there being the ability to lease, bigger units that seem to be more in what we need to do the workload. That is interesting, not, knowing what those terms are. What kind of money so we talking about to get the proper size equipment? Because I just feel, being a resident, that is a big, I've never needed those services, but I see that those services are used on my street. And to go, from something where it's always been a certain way, and then we're talking about half the town on 1 month and the other half.
Oh,
another
this
month.
doesn't say that in this, we've taken that out, so,
Well,
yeah, but it
maybe
could come to
yeah.
that, it could come to that, and we could buy a bigger chipper. Yeah,
Well, I think that's a budget discussion for next year. I mean, we don't have the money to change this year, do we?
Don't know.
No, I don't think we do.
well, I think this is a proposed ordinance, and I think if
Are we still paying a lot?
if we get a earful of people that don't want to do it, then we vote it down as it's proposed. Yeah, I think we got to start somewhere, and if it's hugely unpopular, then we will, reverse course. It's up to you guys sitting here at the council to decide what you want to do. Yeah, but I think we need to start. We have an issue. I think we need to start somewhere, and I think we might have 100 people in here saying no way. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So do we have any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. Okay, committee reports,
No, you don't.
motion, okay, sorry, I was looking at motion to acquire pump station 1 and acquire pump station 2, yep.
I'd like to make a motion that town council A accept pursuant to Virginia Code 15.2-1803 on behalf of the town of Anacog, the conveyance of a 450 square foot portion of tax map numbers 85A1-2-A-2 and 85A1-2-A-3 located at 1 Mount Prospect Avenue, and 2, a 900 square foot portion of tax map number 85A2-24-59A located at 11 Liberty Street, each as more particularly described in the omnibus transfer service and license agreement, and B, authorize the town manager and town attorney to take such actions as are necessary to complete the conveyances.
Okay, do we have a second on that? Okay. This just starts the ball rolling on us acquiring this property from the current landowners. That's all that we have to do this according to the HRSD. So any discussion on it?
I'd like to make a suggestion. Could we possibly get a little graphic of a map
It's,
for posterity's sake?
I got one in here, I think somewhere, and let you look at it. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, with,
Yes,
with the motion, just so it's.
yeah,
we can add that.
yeah. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. That carries. All right. All right, committee reports, economic development should be down in community reports, so we're going to get you next. Planning Commission, Cindy.
I think I have anything to add to what Casey said. So.
Okay. Waterfront Committee, T. Lee's not here. Wes, you were at the meeting, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you, Kelly. Yeah, yeah. No, you're on tap now. I didn't see, I'm sorry. I didn't see. You sit back there.
So T. Lee extends his regrets for not being here, so I thought I would take the opportunity to, since it's at the, we're close to the end of the fiscal year, to give you some highlights from what we've been doing at the wharf for the past year. So first of all, for anybody in this room that doesn't know me, my name is Kelly Pekarsky, and I am the harbor master for the Onancock Wharf and Marina. Fiscal year 2026 was marked by a new harbor master, me, improvements to the marina, and a focus on enhancing customer service, strengthening community partnerships, improving operational efficiency, and increasing public awareness of the marina's value as a town asset. Financial performance, the marina has continued positive revenue generation, as you'll see in your budget numbers, while expanding services and improving customer experience. We were approximately plus $19,000 for the year. We increased utilization of marina facilities through expanded off-season slip rentals, which I hope to continue for this next off-season. We negotiated a reduced diesel fuel rate with PEP-UP, resulting in operational cost savings. Facility improvements in this previous fiscal year, we resealed and restriped the marina parking lot to improve safety, functionality, and appearance. We upgraded the marina's Wi-Fi system to provide more reliable safety, more reliable service for boaters, staff, and guests. We replaced and painted marina benches thanks to John Monroe's volunteer efforts. He built them and provided them to us at no cost to enhance the waterfront's appearance. The wharf sign was repainted and the housing to the electrical panel was rebuilt through the efforts of the Onancock Business and Civic Association, which, Bill, you'll be happy to know that there was a gentleman taking photos of the electrical panel housing because he wanted to do it at his marina. We installed new coded access locks for guest entrance and restroom facilities to improve the security and convenience. We met with the state deputy fire marshal to review the marina's fire extinguishers, locations, and signage to ensure compliance. For community engagement, which is one of the topics that's been near to my heart for both transients and residents of the Eastern Shore of Virginia, one of the things we just began is we introduced a 50% dockage discount for residents of Virginia's Eastern Shore to reinforce our commitment to serving the local community and encourage local boating, not just for transient boaters. I've initiated a partnership with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. We will be hosting a public boater safety course over the course of 3 days. Westfield will be happy to know in August sometime here in the town hall. And they have agreed to supply us at their cost what they call a personal flotation device tree, which will be built by them and put at the marina for any boater who forgets a child's flotation device and would like to borrow one. They'll be on site and they'll be able to return them at the end of their trip. We started paying attention to different holidays. We created and distributed nominal gift bags and flowers on such things as Mother's Day and Father's Day for all boaters, whether they're transient or just spending the day with us. We partnered with the Friends of the Animal Control of the Eastern Shore to bring shelter dogs down there because they started and ended their town walk at the marina, and the transient boaters and the local boaters got to meet adoptable dogs and just, you know, we have probably about 40% of our boaters bring a dog with them. So it would just seem like a natural fit for the boating community and to help this organization. And as always, we've been hosting the Harbor Lights down at the wharf during December, which is still a very popular event. Regarding operations and staff development, we have a newly developed training manual and on-the-job training program to help provide consistent training and maintaining our customer service levels and establishing operational standards for our seasonal employees. And we successfully passed unannounced inspections conducted by both the Virginia Department of Weights and Measures and the Health Department related to marina fuel operations and pump out station. Marketing and communication. So I've been trying to reinvigorate the marina social media presence with updates, including our Meet the Crew posts, increasing engagement both residents and visiting boaters. We partnered with Anancock Main Street and Maggie Grant produced a promotional video showcasing the marina and waterfront. The video has received more than 12,000 views and just more of an effort to increase our marina's regional exposure. The Eastern Shore of Virginia Chamber of Commerce also featured the marina in an article published in June 2026 in their blog titled "Your Perfect Chesapeake Bay Stop Awaits at Anancock Wharf and Marina." So they gave us a nice little article and shout out. We continue to sponsor the Great Loopers Association, which a lot of our boaters, if you're not familiar with that association, the Great Loop is big circle around this country, half, you know, up Michigan, all around the East Coast, down Florida, and up. And some people live on their boats 1 to 2 years to do it. Some people do it in stages, but there's a lot of them out there, and word of mouth has been big through them. I have expanded communications to better inform boaters, residents, and visitors about the marina, whether it's events, promotions, and trying to encourage more local usage and getting the word out that we offer 4-hour slips when available for people who want to just have lunch, stroll the town. And I've started keeping in better touch with the town's business owners to make them aware of which weeks are sold out through yacht clubs. The marina served as the focal point of the town's successful Anancock Sails Forward event, highlighting its importance as both a recreational destination and community gathering place. I think our efforts were probably only surpassed by the fireworks display that went on at the historic Anancock School. Couple of recognition and customer satisfaction items. We were recently awarded 3rd place for Best Marina in the Coastal Virginia Magazine's Best of the Eastern Shore Awards in their July 2026 edition. Waterway Guide listed the marina as a preferred destination and highlighted us on their their first page of their website. We maintain an 4.9 out of 5-star guest rating based on more than 250 customer reviews between DACWA, which is our reservation system, and marina.com. And in all of this is an effort just to strengthen our reputation as one of the premier destinations on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. Looking forward, our goal for the marina is to continue to evolve as an economic asset and a community resource through ongoing facility improvements, continued customer service, stronger partnerships, expanded marketing efforts, and strategic community engagement. The accomplishments of fiscal year 26 are a direct reflection of Marina's dockhands, all of whom are either high school or college students. The support of volunteers such as Diane Perenick, who's led the charge on the wharf cleanup and the landscape, some of the landscaping, and many others. The town's waterfront committee led by T. Lee Bird, and the town in particular, Debbie Caton, who has provided invaluable historical information, guidance, and suggestions. I look forward to working with Debbie and Wes as we continue the momentum in FY27. One of the challenges going forward is going to be how we, I don't know if you can replace it, or what we do about filling the gap that the Tangier Ferry has left. I get every day people come looking for the ferry. And it was a real, I would say, you know, when it was running, I mean, there would be 20, 30 people every morning at the marina checking in, using the facilities, whatever, before they took the trip over. And so it has left a huge gap in services down at the marina. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to.
Could you send us a copy of that?
Yes,
Thank
and
you
I
very much.
apologize because this was last minute. The package had already gone before I realized that I was going to be doing this.
Great
So
report, but I could tell immediately I wasn't going to be able to keep up.
yes, just think everything's awesome. It's fun. We're doing great. But I just think we really need to get the word out more. I think that's one of my biggest challenges, especially in the local area. So,
I have one question.
sure.
What are the summer hours right now?
Summer hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 to 6.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I was looking for ice at like
Oh, the best deal in town,
4
£10,
pina coladas and-
$2.50.
We know, that's why we come to you.
Well, hey, thanks a lot, Kelly. Good, do a great job. Yeah. Now, okay. All right, that concludes our committee reports. So let's go to economic development.
Why did I have to follow that?
Uh,
Okay, just a couple of quick updates. We had a productive meeting at the OEDA last week. The directors appreciated a presentation about on Hancock Main Street. Maggie Newman came and Lisa came and Karen Rush Monroe came. And, you know, certainly we have a lot of interest in common. And I think as our EDA matures, we're going to stay in touch because we do have these common interests. We want to have synergy without duplication and things like that. So I thought that was a great start to what I envision will be an ongoing conversation. We did vote to meet monthly for the remainder of the year because we really feel we have some momentum. And so we're going to meet monthly to continue to work on the infrastructure. And by that, I mean, are the foundational things so that we can be prepared to have programs in 2027. So for those of you that don't know, the primary thing in our EDA right now is that we got $1 million loan for the rehabilitation of the Lilliston building and the construction of the short stays on the second floor. So one of the conditions of getting that money was that as that money is paid back, the EDA will reinvest those repayments into the community. So right now we're accumulating those payments, and concurrently we're going to develop a revolving loan fund. We need to establish the parameters, eligibility, interest rates, you know, what kind of things we want to support. Do we want to wait until we have more money and do bigger loans, or or do something more immediate, maybe have smaller loans. And so all those things are what we're exploring right now. And one of the ways that we're doing that is to be looking at other EDAs and entities to see, I mean, I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. There are towns all over the country that have EDAs. So we want to find some successful projects that might potentially serve as a model. And so we've got, so there's two streams. One is, what are we going to do with the money that's coming back through the loan repayments? And then what other streams of money? So I guess 3 streams. What are we going to do with the money that we already have coming in? How can we find new monies to invest into economic development? And then the third thing would be, what other tools can we put in our toolkit to incentivize economic development in the town? And those are all things we're looking at as we see what other entities are doing. So our hope is that by the end of this year, we will have made a decision about retention of council. We would have identified some other revenue streams to pursue. We would have at least the beginning parameters for our revolving loan fund. And we would have some good models to look at to help guide us as we continue to mature with the intention of launching a program in earnest, hopefully early next year to get some money back into circulation.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ann? Okay. All right, Historic and Hancock School.
Okay, the construction phase of the recovery from the fire is now underway. That took a little bit to get there, but it is happening. So we're pleased with the progress now that it finally started. The ice cream social happened in cooperation with OBCA and the community band on July 3rd. And other than roasting everybody who was there, not just the hot dogs, it went well. The crowd was smaller than usual, but that was from the heat. The band said that they did enjoy being on the pavilion stage. There have been youth volunteer groups, Youth Works, and other organizations at the school working on picking up trash, weeding, trimming, building benches, and they have been enthusiastic and have had a good time and have done some good work. So that's been a good relationship. 2 concerts coming up. One is this Friday, July 31st from 6 to 9. It's a group called Tidewater Drive with, I'm not familiar with them, but I've heard lots of good things about them. And then the last Friday of August, August 28th, the DeLoreans, which is an 80s tribute band, also 6 to 9 o'clock. And then jumping a week back to Saturday, August 22nd, the Samuel Outlaw Blacksmith Shop is having their annual Shoebox Lunch Festival. And there will be a new feature to that celebration this year, which will be a 5K race from starting at the school and ending at the blacksmith shop. So a team effort between the blacksmith shop folks and the school. So any questions or any other things, Fletcher, that I left out that we should have said?
We're ongoing with air conditioning, HVAC improvements. We have a meeting.
Yes,
Still
you're
trying to prepare documents to go out to bids for that. And I was over at the school today, and the ceiling tiles are about half back. It's looking coming along really nice. Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Sarah on the school? Okay. Lisa on Hancock Main Street.
We welcome 2 new board members this month. Betsy Siebold and Anna Berger have joined the OMS team. We had to put 2 people in to fill 1 seat. I'm just kidding. Since Cindy's no longer with us. We met with the Economic Development Authority, which I thought was a great conversation, and look forward to growing that relationship. This Friday at the concert, from 7 to 9, OMS will be there. We're gonna have a table. The first 50 people will get a free cookie that's from Corner Bakery. And then we also have some fun giveaways and a chance to win one of our $50 gift certificates to local shops and restaurants in town. As part of Virginia Main Street Grant, we are currently promoting our Open for Business campaign through social media, radio, newspaper ads, digital banners, and e-blasts. These efforts are driving potential business owners and entrepreneurs to the town's tourism website, which is experienceinhancock.com, where they can find a designated page with information about starting or expanding a business in downtown Onancock. And actually not just downtown Onancock. I think we have other properties listed up Market Street as well. And the goal is to make it easier for prospective businesses to explore opportunities and choose Onancock. This website also has the available properties for sale or for lease, as well as like town taxes for businesses, where to go get building permits and zoning approval and kind of general information you would want to know, one-stop shop for opening a business in town. Last week, actually through this weekend, we welcomed travel journalist and content creator Hunter Holbert, who's got 209,000 plus followers, to Onancock as part of our current Virginia Tourism Corporation grant. Hunter filmed a new Peaceful Retreat series highlighting Onancock's outdoor experiences with Burnham guides, local history with shore history, and unique shopping throughout town. Once editing is complete, the series will be shared across his social media channels, introducing Onancock to a new audience and help attract more visitors to our community. And lastly, we just closed out our last Virginia Tourism Marketing Leveraging Grant, which ended in June of 2026. We funded the activities we did throughout that grant were paid tourism marketing campaigns. We had 6 promotional videos generated, a library of professional photography that continues to support our website, print materials, digital advertising, and social media marketing. Thank you.
Any other questions for Main Street? Okay, thank you. Some guys are busy. OBCA, is that Bill?
Thank you very much. Bill Burnham, currently an officer of OBCA, the Onancock Business and Civic Association, and that's our primary news for this month is that at our July membership meeting, we elected a new president, vice president, and an at-large officer. So currently, John Figge has taken over as president of OBCA, and Dana Dillon is our vice president, and I am moving into an at-large or officer position on the board. So we will continue in that vein, and we'll continue with the usual activities. We've got Halloween coming up, we've got Christmas and St. Patrick's Day. OBCA was the recipient of an Eastern Shore Tourism grant to promote off-season activities. So Halloween, Christmas, and St. Patrick's Day will be receive the focus of that grant in terms of marketing and promotion. So very happy to be moving on and welcoming the new board members. That's about it from the OBCA. Do I have anything else? I got
Any questions from? Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right.
You can stay right there. You're the only person that signed up for public comment.
Oh, boy. Is that right?
That's correct.
So this is going to be a harsh transition. Sorry. So this is completely different, and I want to just introduce myself as Bill Burnham, 46 Kerr Street, and not representing any organization than my neighborhood and my house. There was a shooting incident on July, I believe July 8th, Boundary and Spady Lane. We did not find out about this incident until 7 days later when we read about it in the newspaper. And that's what I'm here to address. I guess my first question would be, did the town send out any notice to residents who live near there or walk there or participate in activities there about an active shooter. I know this is not a Q&A, but I just want to make sure I didn't miss an announcement. I live 3 blocks from there. I walk my dog there. I water plants there. The town is very good about alerting us to like hydrant flushings, water main breaks, chipping schedules, and other town operational aspects. And I guess I'm here to ask that you figure out a way to alert people about violent incidents like this. I don't know any details and I don't want to assume anything other than what I read in the news, but the lingering question that I have had since then was, why weren't we alerted to the fact that there was a shooting 3 blocks from my house? So I understand that there is a concern about creating panic or undue stress with announcements like this, especially when information is possibly incomplete and or in the process of being investigated. But it would definitely impact where I walk, what I do, and how I operate if I knew that this incident had occurred. And to find out about it 7 days later via the news media did not make me feel comfortable. You know, this incident was related to one particular spot, but it doesn't mean it can't happen somewhere else in town. And I think that's unfortunately a reality that we're facing at in this day and age. So I just want to kind of put that before the council, the chief, town manager, to consider an alert process for, I'm just going to say, violent crime, active shooters. So thank you.
Thank you. Chief will address this in his comments. Yeah. Okay. Any more public comment? Yep, I got.
Eric Dodge, 12 Meadville Drive in Onancock. I'm here really as a messenger. I wanted to check whether you had prepared a resolution or passed a resolution accepting the county's hazardous mitigation plan for 2026.
Guess we'll have to get back to you on that one. Yeah.
All right, well, I attend the Eastern Shore Disaster Preparedness Coalition. That's when everybody gets together and plans for hurricanes and stuff. And the Accomack County Planning Commission has prepared this mitigation plan. It's taken them quite a while. It's gone to FEMA. FEMA's acted on it. But the message is that all 19 incorporated villages have to pass resolutions to accept this report, or you won't get FEMA funding. You don't all have to do it, but each village has to do it in order to be eligible for FEMA funding should there be a disaster.
Wes will definitely look into that. Yeah. Okay.
And then I just want to say the chipper guys are tremendous. I mean, it's so clean when they're done. Now, we did suffer 3 or 4 months since Christmas, but that was okay. I have one suggestion: separate leaves and chipping. Can't you? Do the leaves have to be chipped?
I asked the same question, and the problem is we ran into several items that had to be chipped. So they don't always chip them. If you notice that there's a bag, they've been driving around picking up the bags separately. If it's a recyclable bag, they chip them.
Okay.
They dump the bag and put it back.
Are we allowed to take our stuff to the yard over by the ball field? No.
No.
Late at night?
All right. Okay. Thank you. Any more public comment?
Not sure that this has been discussed. If it has, please yell at me. Rick Turner, 30 Nancock Street. I'm here to request a more comprehensive approach to codes tied to lawn care. I'm hoping something's being done about that. We have a number of, as many people know, we have a number of homes for sale, a good number right now. If I was driving through town, I would be very upset about some of the homes that I see and wonder what's going on in town maintenance. For instance, in a drive to the wharf, I encountered a yard that looked like the person had moved everything in their home into their yard. Then I saw at least 4 homes that had what I'd call obnoxious looking grass and bushes. And some have been there for maybe a year, something like that, and no action has been taken. Now, it seems like the policy is, and the policy has been, that one must come to the office to complain, and then perhaps something will happen. And that's what I did. I have a home next to me that I'm very embarrassed to be next to it. And I came, well, I don't know, 4 or 5 times this year. It was mid-July before the grass was cut. Now, I know there's codes tied to this, but there's got to be a better way to do this. Now, some of the things I've heard in terms of excuses, and I call them excuses, is, well, we have a lot to do and we can't spare people. The town I came from, and I know people hate that when you refer to another town, but this is a practical problem. And they solve part of it by using local lawn maintenance people, and they would pay them. And then the person who offended the code would wind up with a fine and enough money to pay for that. So it really costs nothing to do this. So that particular excuse to me doesn't fly. The other one is, again, just we don't have equipment, we don't have the people, but I really think there's ways around that, and I'd like to see it. I care a lot about the town, and it disturbs me greatly. Not only my problem, but I guess the way I solved it by being a complainer, and I'll continue if it's necessary. But what I really care about is the way the town looks and the way it approaches somebody who might be driving into town for the first time, might even be looking for thinking about a home here. And we have a number available now. So I request that you do something and do something right and something that works. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. All right, public comment. Mayor's report. I don't have too much. As some of you may know, Jim McGowan dropped out of withdrew running for council. So we only have basically 4 people running for 4 slots in council. It's just information. We have council members. We have a VML meeting coming up in October. Is anybody signed up to go to that? Or who wants to go? Cindy, Ann, have you signed up? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. That's in Norfolk this year. Yeah. You're out of town. Okay. Just get with me. All right. Just a shout out to I don't know if you know, the Public Works guys have new uniforms. It's really kind of nice. If you've seen them, they look really good. Yeah. You can't miss them. Yeah. Bright yellow. Yeah. Really, very nice. And in response to lawn maintenance, you just talked about, I had talked to Wes about that, and I think he's the guy that's going to handle this situation. We have our Public Works guys in charge of actually going around to identify, if so, you don't have to do it on a complaint basis. And then we're going to try to get on this. It is, I think we have been remiss over the years in enforcing that. We do have a pretty specific ordinance about what to do. So I think we're going to do better on trying on that one. And that's about all I have for mayor's report. Okay. Staff reports, town manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My written report is included in the packet for council's review. The report focuses on the town's ongoing work to organize its financial records and prepare for the outstanding audits, along with budget amendments that we needed for several grant funded projects. It also provides updates on public works operations, the tipping recommendation, the pump station transfer, the remaining Northeast neighborhood CDBG work, the winter market project, and follow-up work on the new digital water meters. The report also covers restoration and lease work at the school. and the next phase of the blacksmith shop project and the planning commission's work on the comprehensive plan and water service policy. And so with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I want to start. Omar, got any questions or?
As far as the new, digital water meters, it's been brought to my attention by a couple of people in the apartments. One of the buildings had an issue where people who were having regular, or should I say, lower water bills, this last set of water bills came up like $900 some odd, and it came to me a couple of times, something about a leak or something, and I don't know, I'm just bringing out, did anybody have a chance to look at that, or?
Sure, yeah.
That gentleman came in on Friday with somebody,
Mhm.
and he was notified of the leak to learn that it was a maintenance issue. Maintenance at the apartment didn't correct the problem for 2 or 3 days. We
Mhm.
encouraged him to go to the management of the apartment complex to get it serviced, which they finally did. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do in that circumstance. We notified him of the leak. Maintenance didn't fix it properly or timely.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was more than just one person. I think it was like two more, maybe three. It was like 3 people. And it was just said that, because the maintenance didn't, because there was a problem with the maintenance and they not doing it. How is it that the occupant has to pay that amount of money
That's
for?
between him and the rental agency, unfortunately.
Okay.
And one thing I'll add about new water meters is that they're actually much more accurate
Mhm.
than the old ones, so folks may have had lower bills because the readings were all. So I'm not saying that's the case, I'm
Right,
saying
yeah.
that may happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think this person, one of the people, his average bill was like less than $100. And then this bill came in like 900 and some changes. No, it was like,
Yes.
that's just wondering how is it that person has to fit that bill.
Right, yeah, and we always try to work with people on that, especially if there's a leak, but unfortunately, in that one circumstance, I can't speak to the other folks, but unfortunately, that's an issue on their end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Omar, I just tell those people to come in and talk to Wes individually, because, oh, they did. One did, but you said there's 3 or 4 more. Yeah.
Fairly certain that they were notified.
Okay, it was leaks. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Ashley? anything?
So, one other question on that, is there any documentation that the town could produce to give to those residents to use in communicating with the rental management to try to recover the money from them, since it was their maintenance department that didn't fix the leaks in a timely fashion?
Do you mean separately from their bill?
So that as you said, the town still has to charge that money to the residents of the apartments, but that the residents of the apartments could use to go to the owner or the management company to say, you cost me this money, you need to pay this money back to me because I had to pay it out.
Yes, we could certainly write something up to support that.
I
Okay.
encouraged him to do that, and I encouraged him to ask for the work order from the maintenance department to see what kind of history they could provide.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you guys are on top of this. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right. I mean, you could give them you could give them an average bill what they had before, so that they would be responsible. Yeah, of course, that's between them and the rental agent. Yeah. All right. Ashley, anything? No? Sarah?
Yes, a couple of questions. This is on page 14, the Winter Market project. Since the Winter Market is no longer going to be on town property. I was surprised to see town involvement in that.
Yes, so that's in regards to the grant that they were awarded and that money is passed through the town because we
Okay.
applied for their.
So even though it's not going to be on town property, it's still for us to do so.
Yeah, the budget wasn't carried through to next year. It wasn't put
Okay.
in the budget.
Thank
That's just
you.
a budget, yeah, that's just a bookkeeping
Okay.
thing, really. And
And then is the separate memo about water meter upgrade project part of what we're talking about now, or is that a later topic to?
That's part of my report.
Okay. So I guess my main question is what kinds of problems have there been and how would the average customer know that he or she has a bad meter?
So. Okay, I'm sorry, repeat your question.
So this note says that approximately 100 meters were initially identified as needing follow-up. Still working to determine the exact number and what needs to happen for each one. So do the people whose meters they are know that they have a question with their meter?
No, so it's kind of a two-phase thing or two different incidences. The substantial walkthrough is actually something that HRSD and RK&K, which is their inspection team, that had more to do with lids that were cracking, or maybe the meter was set lower than it needed to be and the water was getting under it. It's really just kind of a maintenance thing. It doesn't necessarily affect the reads.
Okay.
So that was being dealt with the actual contractor, and I saw John B the other day, so he's actually still working on the walkthrough or fixing those problems. The actual Harmony Analytics part is what the gentleman was here last week working with Hannah and the DPW guys to identify like an active meter or reverse flow or just alerts that she gets. Leak alerts we had, and those have all been corrected at this point. And they spent what, 3 hours Thursday, just coming up with exactly what things meant, who she's dispatching when there's an issue. And it really, the homeowner wouldn't know, I guess.
Okay.
That's the way to put it.
Thank you. Is it, so we'll just wait for an updated report of
I will let you guys
when
know
that's all
when you're done.
resolved. Thank you.
Cindy? Lisa? Ann?
Just got a couple of things. So just in this meeting, we've been here since 6 o'clock. We've talked about communicating about the chipper. One of my favorite things, the chipper, credit card fees, lawn maintenance, water meter issues, and of course, the shooting. And so all of this to me underscores, and I know you guys all know this, how important communication is. And we need to do a lot of it, and it needs to be timely and accurate across the board. And my sense is that you all are thinking about it and trying to figure out how to do it in the best way. I think it's important that we reach the point where everyone in town can know what to expect from us. What will they learn about, under what circumstances, and by what means. And that's a big thing, and it's going to be over time. But I think as a big picture strategic objective, I think that's a very good goal, and that people can reasonably expect to have that awareness from us. And so I particularly appreciate Bill's comments and of course Rick's comments. It all kind of ties together to me in terms of, you know, I moved to town. I want to know, what are you going to tell me when and how about what? Because I think one of the challenges that we have a lot of times is managing expectations, right? So if somebody expects to hear something for whatever reason, maybe they heard about it where they lived before. Maybe they heard about it when they lived here 10 years ago. But if that expectation is there for whatever reason, and then it doesn't materialize, that's a disconnect that can linger in terms of people's perceptions. And so even if someone disagrees when we say, well, we're not going to tell you about X, I think at least then that takes care of not having that false expectation. And they can be mad, people can be unhappy about it, but at least they will know the town has told me we're not gonna communicate about X. Now, with respect to what Bill said about the violence and public safety and things like that, very complex topic. I think there's lots of nuances there, no question. We were not the investigating department on that, which of course is a factor, but I think that we need to find a way to find that balance. And I think there are 3 reasons why that in particular is important. One is, I think people should reasonably expect to be informed about things like that when they're happening in a timely way, to the degree that we can convey information about it in an appropriate way. I think that ties into the second thing, which is, I think we need to be mindful of maintaining the public's trust. And so I think when there's that disconnect again, people have an expectation that we should tell them something. When they don't get that information, whether the expectation is right or wrong, that can be an erosion in the town's confidence in us. So people should be able to rely on this for accurate and timely information when circumstances warrant and when it's things that we've said that we're going to tell them about. So in this case, we don't have any kind of public information policy. I think it sounds like that's something that is probably going to be considered going forward in the larger communication picture. And then the other thing, of course, is just, I mean, one ought not I view social media with a considerable amount of skepticism, but of course, that's a primary source for people to get their information. On July 8th, at about the time the shooting occurred, I lived just a little bit up from Bill, another neighbor said gunshots in Onancock, ? And it's very it's disturbing to see something like that. And then all kinds of just, when they say don't read the comments, that's usually a good idea. But somebody said, oh, well, it's hunters, it's duck season. Just the gamut, the whole gamut. And so, while Bill pointed out that, convey is a double-edged sword, right? You can maybe instigate some fear unintentionally, but I also think that in these situations, fear can escalate. And I think about particularly our vulnerable populations, our older people, and things like that, that I just think this is a really big thing. And I think that, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but my sense is that I think we all have a commitment in wanting to move forward and along this line, so that we can be a little bit more clear about what folks can expect to hear from us about when and how. The second thing I want to say, just listening to this meeting, it's just kind of interesting to me how everything is so interconnected, right? So we want people to come into town and buy houses and establish businesses. So that means we want the lawns to be mowed, and we want to have events, and the waterfront's a big part of that. I talked to some boaters not too long ago, and they had a great time at Halloween because of OBCA's effort. And so they returned just a few weeks ago as transient boaters. And so this is the positive thing, is that we have so much great energy, so many good things going on. And I think it's just terrific that we have the interconnectedness that we do, and OMS and EDA coordinating and things. And we got a great volunteer energy and lots of good things going on. So I think it's definitely a great news story about how the town is doing. And there are lots of towns that would love to be us.
Any other questions for the town manager?
About the financials? or
Yeah,
are we
I'm
still
gonna-
in the main part.
No, we're gonna go to financials now. Any questions about financials?
Yep, I had one on the financials. This is page, oh, the pages got cut off. I think it's page 20. Administration expenditures. About the fifth one down is OMS grant match. Okay, so we did,
Well, actually, the first one I don't think is OMS grant, and it's not the right total. I think it's a different line item name, but there are two others on the second page that are the same.
okay,
This is an email today about that.
Yeah.
okay.
So.
Sorry, I didn't see.
I just sent it to staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so that's just the wrong name on that first one. Okay. Would, Debbie, when you find what it is, would you let us know? Because I just want to be sure we're doing what we ought to be doing. That was my one question.
Okay, anything else on financial? Okay, police report, chief?
I guess we should just address the most recent incidents with the firearms and so on.
Yeah,
First off, get it straight, it was not an active shooter. An active shooter walking down, just shooting people because they had nothing better to do. This was a target, this one after this one particular person. We, thanks to the cameras actually are the ones that we never got a call. Well, first off, made that clear, the cameras actually alerted us that we had a shooting in town. We still have not received a call from anybody in them. So the officer responded, got to the scene, secured the scene, checked the cameras. We knew there was no immediate threat at that time to the neighborhood or anywhere else in there. We turned it over to the sheriff's office. I checked with the state today and everybody else. It's not our case. I cannot provide any information on what's up in the sheriff's office. I can't. Now, can we work something out with them? Possibly, yes, but I can't guarantee every case, every scenario. For some reason, they held this information for their investigation. There was something that they released, they didn't want out. And they held it, that's why it was so long getting out. And if I had jumped the gun and did an announcement against the sheriff's department's knowledge, I would have put the information out. Quite honestly, because I didn't know all the scenarios. This is one reason stuff doesn't get right out, but I can tell you, if there's an immediate threat to our town, we will let you know, but believe it or not, our cameras got everything. Unbelievable, perfect. But this is one reason nobody was notified, and it's even the department's policy next door, it's the sheriff's office case, I tread very lightly. Because first off, it's his case, I can get in trouble, second off, he don't have to take it. If we make them upset, they don't have to take these cases. We're ultimately responsible. But I will tell you, I watched 6 hours of camera that night. And I knew where everybody went, and nobody in this town was in danger, I should say, to get back, you never know. But nobody was in danger from this incident. If they is a true active shooter, you will know, I guarantee it.
okay, any questions for the chief?
Yeah, I just looking at the counts of instances from 2025 and 2026. If I'm reading correctly, there was so far last year, there were 2 firearm related issues. And this year there are like 15. Is there, I mean, obviously we note that, but is there anything that we can do, you can do, the town people can do to
Unfortunately.
get that back?
Yeah, unfortunately, as I said before, we are controlled by who visits us. Most of our special farmers, that's still, it's not, it's not people who live here, it's visitors. So, but we do our best, that's all that's what we're doing, we keep it contained, we keep it, try to hit it quickly. Unfortunately, it happened last year. We actually had a down year. That's one reason. Comparing apples and oranges. Last year, we had a very quiet year.
Are some of these numbers repeated again? Like, what is what's reckless handling of a firearm?
Yes, and it's also,
So it could, so this not all, these aren't our individual instance.
no.
So this, the reckless handling could be into 5 or different categories here. Okay.
Discharge with a
Okay, all right. So that brings the numbers down quite a bit, yeah. Okay.
So it could have been just like 5 occurrences, but they show up in multiple categories.
3 offenses in that one. This breaks down every event, so.
Okay,
It may be one incident and it could be 3 crimes because it's 3 are charged.
thank you for clarifying that.
Any other questions for the chief? Okay, all right, we're on the last thing. Town council comments. Omar? Ashley?
I have one question, but actually 2 things. One, there was, I'm just curious of where we are on the study of the mosquitoes and the communication again, to use that hobby horse of what individual people can do to keep mosquitoes down. What we're finding is if the counting is happening, those kinds of questions.
Could we get a report on that at next meeting, maybe? Full report of that, unless there's something you want to go into right now.
Well, I can give a quick one.
Okay,
So I had a good discussion with Wes about this recently. We've identified the surveillance equipment. The town's gonna purchase that.
okay.
And we've also compiled some public education things, and the town will be able to start putting those out. We envision, Wes is also gonna buy some dunks. And so we will have some kind of dunk dissemination activity where people can come and get dunks along with some instructions for how to use them. And then, it's people need to do things on their own proper, our whatever the town does will be for naught, I think, if homeowners do not think about their own properties, right? So we got to get rid of standing water, and all of that stuff. And we had that session that was well attended, I thought, about all of those things. And we just need to get that stuff in circulation. One problem we have is that the mosquitoes in the area are highly mobile. And so you could take care of them in the morning and have a whole new crop come in from Parksley, Exmoor, wherever they might like to be. We did, and we've talked to a lot of people about this. We've talked to the Virginia Department of Health, the current and past presidents of the Virginia Mosquito Control Association, the American Mosquito Control Association, professors from Virginia Tech and UVA. And so, but the actual surveillance, I don't know how long it will take for the traps to get here, but we do have all of that in the works.
Okay.
I have a question.
Just could somebody reply to the person who sent the email last week?
Dick Schreiber that I forwarded to you.
Oh.
And my question is really, how many complaints have we gotten?
Yeah, I'll
Because
talk-
I've gotten at least 2.
So far, none.
Yeah, well, it's been dry. I think between now and I think we're coming into mosquito season. So I think that it'd be interesting to get some feedback from the community over the next month to help. But I honestly, I haven't noticed a big problem. And
Oh, I have. But they also are drawn to me, so it's not
yeah,
really
I mean,
fair.
I haven't noticed any difference.
I
from
have the
last year.
blood type that means that they like me.
I mean, I'm just sitting out. I've been sitting out by the pool. And I haven't really noticed any difference from last year's, so I don't know. It's just,
First
but it's
thing in
been
the morning,
dry.
all throughout. the
But I got a
day.
feeling it's going to be bad the next few weeks. So
Right. And so this is going to be, I'm sorry, Cindy, go
2
ahead.
people have complained to me. The one I forwarded to you and another one that I suggested contact you. Apparently he has not, but 2 people have complained to me and.
we get people complaining last year and we were spraying all the time. So, I mean,
Right, and I had another question. I know the county has a reverse 911 service, and I think the town might, I'm not sure, but may, at least the the manager's minute list that I think was hidden for a long time and has been recovered. That can be a tool for the communication that we're talking about.
Yeah, I've talked to the county, we've used it before. They would have done.
Okay,
Because there's very strict guidelines and it's supposed to be, if there was a active shooter, like still shooting, yes.
okay,
Once the threat's done, no, it's not an emergency.
okay. But if
There is.
the circumstances were appropriate, we would have access to it?
You have to
Okay.
sign up for it to be part of
Yes,
it, though,
you
right?
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to register
right, yeah.
with the county to say if there is a hurricane coming and there's an evacuation order or whatever the dire circumstances, tell me so I don't have to go searching for the information.
Good breath.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Do you, so who are you, Lisa?
Yeah, I have two things. One is I want to amend what I said earlier during the OMS update. The concert's actually from 6 to 9, not 7 to 9. Want to clarify that. And then I was wondering if we could find out, Main Street was trying to email some documents to the town's EDA email addresses, and a lot of stuff wouldn't go through. Is it a size? Is it the type of file?
Can you talk to him on the, this is not
Well, but this is,
policy thing.
if
yeah.
we want to go back and forth.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
we
just
need to
throw
work it
there.
out, but yeah, get up with him. Yeah.
Are you talking about the EA members' email?
Yes, like the town, whatever the firewall is, wouldn't accept.
Oh, that's,
And so that's why I was wondering if we could look at what is acceptable. And what's not.
Possibly be that some of them don't have their emails set up, or did it not go to any?
It didn't go to any of them.
We can look into it.
Okay, just to throw that out there. Okay.
and
I apologize for my agenda file of making my comments already.
that's okay. Well, thank, well, you spared the minutes, fine, thank you. All right, any more things? Yeah, okay. I don't have any made comments. I would like to, Kelly's report, the wharf has been a great thing this year. Wife and I are at the farmer's market all the time, and, in previous years, our rate boater will come up sometimes and let us know what they think about their bad service, and I haven't had anybody this year. It's just been no one, so, it's been great. And it's been all positive comments, and I went down there, I used to try to go down, went down there, talk to the boat, who are the boat crew is here, what club is here? Yeah, I went down and talked to them, and they were eating there, and they were just as, they were just incredibly impressed with everything we've been doing for them. And, and your staff has been great. So hopefully we just can continue that, And it looks like we're not losing any money on it. So that's, not that it's a moneymaker for us, but we don't want to lose money on the wharf, So, okay. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.